Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday, August the 5th. We are here to look at the new releases that are being set into the wild this week. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. On Thursdays, we look at fantasy and science fiction. Friday is Freeform Friday. We look at whatever I want to look at. Usually it is leftovers that we didn't have time to get to, such as I am suspecting today. We've got a lot of cozy mysteries. I only put the bigger names up there. There we go. My light was dim. All right. Hope you had a good weekend. Quick announcements. I do not have sprints tonight. I don't do them on Monday nights. I believe it's on Storms tonight. I do have them tomorrow night. I do 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Those go for 2.5 hours. And on Saturday afternoons at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, those go for 5 hours. All right, here we go. And away we go. A Farewell to Arf's 15th in the Chet and Bernie Mystery Series by Spencer Quinn. Chet the dog, the most lovable narrator in all of crime fiction, and his human partner, P.I. Bernie Little, are on to a new case, and this time they're entangled in a web of crime unlike anything they've ever seen before. Their elderly next-door neighbor, Mr. Parsons, thought he was doing the right thing by loaning his ne'er-do-well son Billy some money to help get himself settled. But soon Mr. Parsons discovers that his entire life savings is gone. A run-of-the-mill scam? Bernie isn't so sure that the case is that simple, but it's Chet who senses what they're really up against. Only Billy knows the truth, but he's disappeared. Can Chet and Bernie track him down before it's too late? Someone else is in the hunt, an enemy with a mysterious cutting-edge power who will test Chet and Bernie to their limit, or maybe beyond. Even poker, not the kind of game they're good at, plays a role. Lucy Burdett has a new one. A Poisonous Palate. 14th in the Key West Food Critic series. When food critic Haley Snow receives an intriguing email about a mysterious decades-old disappearance, her curiosity is piqued. Writer Catherine Davitt has returned to the Keys to research a book about Hemingway's wives, but she's also on the hunt for the truth about her missing friend. Haley quickly agrees to help investigate, and they hit the road to see what clues they might find. Back in the late 1970s, Catherine and her friend Veronica were part of a group of lost souls camping in the mangroves of Big Pine Key until Veronica vanished and the sheriff's office cleared out the camp. Catherine and Haley begin interviewing Big Pine Key residents who were around at the time of Veronica's disappearance, but uncover more questions than answers. Catherine and Haley stop to speak with a motel owner who frequented the fringes of the commune, but they find him stabbed to death. Then Catherine also goes missing, and signs point to a connection between the old case and the new murder. It's up to Haley to unravel the knot of secrets and lies before time runs out. I feel like my ears plugged. Donna Andrews has a new one in her long-running series. 35th in the Meg Winslow series, Between a Flock and a Hard Place. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Mary. Happy Monday. I'm excited to have my daughter visiting me this week, so I may not catch every broadcast. Oh, that's wonderful. That's going to be a very good visit. And Mary says hello to Kim. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Meg's neighbors, the Smetkamps, have won a makeover for their old home from Marvelous Mansions, a flashy yet dubious company focused on making historic homes more modern. The company already several days into its makeover of the Smetkamps' house, and the tensions are running high, not only between the officious demanding Mrs. Smetkamp and her neighbors, but also between her and the renovation crew. Meg, who is trying to keep the peace and prevent the makeover crew from trampling on every clause of the county's building code, arrives at the Smet camps to find that Caerphilly's resident flock of feral turkeys has moved into their yard or been relocated there by someone who wanted to cause them trouble. The turkeys are huge, territorial, cranky, and aggressive, and impossible to move. Meg does what she can to calm down the irate neighbors and help the makeover crew make progress in spite of the turkeys. She comes up with a plan to gather a group of turkey wranglers to snatch them early in the morning. But when they arrive, they find the body of Mrs. Metcalf in her backyard. Someone stabbed her and then tried to make it look as if she was attacked by one of the turkeys. But Meg, the chief, and sheriff are not fooled. Together, they must figure out what really happened to Mrs. Metcalf and what to do with all these turkeys. I say Thanksgiving comes early. Booked on Murder by Allison Brooke, eighth in a haunted library mystery. Carrie Singleton is ready to kiss the single life goodbye. Her wedding to Dylan Avery is just a few weeks away, and a happy ending is about to be hers. But when a body is found on the lawn of their wedding venue, happily ever after is looking deadlier than ever. The victim turns out to be Billy Carpenter, a young man recently released from prison after serving time for a bank robbery. The stolen money he'd buried is gone, and Carrie and the police suspect Billy's two alleged co-conspirators, his friends Luke Rizzo and Tino Valdez. But then Luke is murdered, and Tino is nowhere to be found. With no leads and only a week to go before her big day, Carrie is on the hunt for clues. She hopes to wrap up this investigation with a neat bow before she and Dylan tie the knot. Carrie has something old, something new, and something borrowed ready for her walk down the aisle. Now she needs to find the killer without becoming the something blue. That was kind of a tacky last line. Mary says, I'm liking the book I'm reading, The Coast Road by Alan Mirren, set in Ireland, modern day. And you've been there, so you know. Kim, I'm good, Mary. Hope you are too. Heading to my daddy's Thursday 6-hour drive. Oof. No Paw to Stand On by Laurie Cass, 12th in the Bookmobile Cat Mysteries. When a heat wave hits northern Michigan, Minnie, Eddie, and their bookmobile head to the beach to catch some rays and some customers. But library business is put on hold when Minnie's restaurant-owning best friend Kristen calls. The specialty ice cream cone treat she's been serving to patrons was sabotaged, making some customers horribly sick. Kristen needs Minnie to sniff out the culprit fast, or the restaurant's reputation will be destroyed forever. Minnie and Eddie are hot on the tail of the suspect when an employee from another restaurant is found dead. Could the poisoning and the murder be related? It'll take a feline to catch a felon. ... Laura Childs has a new one. Peach Tea Schmack, 28th in the Tea Shop series by Laura Childs. She always has such pretty covers. Murder at an Alice in Wonderland themed event threatens to send Theodosia Browning through the looking glass. During the Mad Hatter Masquerade, a fundraiser hosted by the Friends of the Opera on the grounds of the old Pendleton grist mill, Harlan Sadler, husband of Cricket Sadler, the chairwoman, is killed. He's been hit in the head with a croquet mallet, and his body hung on the chains and paddles of the grist mill. Oh my. Nobody can figure out why, since Harlan was much beloved by everyone. It's only after Cricket and Delane beg Theodosia to investigate that she realizes the killer might have mistaken Harlan for his crazy son Duke. After all, Duke is a slumlord and recently injured a woman in a boating accident. Includes delicious recipes and tea time tips. To Air is Cumin. Eighth in the Spice Shop Mysteries by Leslie Budowitz. I think she lives in Montana. Wow, went through coffee fast. One person's treasure is another's trash. Pepper Reese, owner of the Spice Shop in Seattle's Pike Place Market, wants nothing more than to live a quiet life for a change, running her shop, working with customers eager to spice up their cooking. But when she finds an envelope stuffed with cash in a ratty old wingback left on the curb, she sets out to track down the owner. Pepper soon concludes that the chair and its stash may belong to young Talia Cook, new in town and nowhere to be seen. Boz Bosworth, an unemployed chef Pepper's tangled with in the past, shows up looking for the young woman, but Pepper refuses to help him search. When Boz is found floating in the ship canal, only a few blocks from Talia's apartment, free furniture no longer seems like such a bargain. On the hunt for Talia, Pepper discovers a web of connections threatening to ensnare her best customer. The more she probes, the harder it is to tell who's part of an unsavory scheme of corruption and who might be the next victim. Between her quest for an elusive herb, helping her parents remodel their new house, and setting up the Spice Shop's first cooking class, Pepper's got a full plate. Dogged by a sense of obligation to find the rightful owner of the hidden treasure, she keeps on showing up where she's not wanted, asking probing questions. She made one mistake, and she could find herself cashing out. Again, dot 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 dot. Mary has been eating a lot of fresh peaches this season, but not tea. May have to try this one out though. Like Laura Childs. Yes. Mary Kim, safe travels. What state does your dad live in? And Kim says, so many of these series I started years ago and have no idea what I've read and what I haven't. I get you. Absolutely. Mary, he lives in Florida. Yeah, book I'm reading right now is one I read 20 years ago. And I don't remember it, of course, very much of it. And now there's like 18 books in the series. And so I'm rereading it. Reading Between the Lies by Lynn Cahoon, fourth in a Survivor's Book Club mystery. Bookshop owner Rarity Cole is living her best life after surviving cancer, hosting book clubs, classes, and parties at her store The Next Chapter, and giving back to her community in Sedona, Arizona. But an awkward outing to an art gallery is about to add a dark slant to the picture. Rarity is grateful for many things and people in her new life, including her friend Shirley, who is helping to provide backpacks and supplies for kids going back to school. But Shirley needs a big favor. With her husband in a memory care home, she wants to attend an art opening with a male friend but fears local gossip. She asks Rarity, her friend Sam, and their boyfriends to come along as cover. It would be fun if not for the fact that the two couples are barely speaking. The evening proceeds without any social disasters, but the gallery owner, who struck Rarity as more of a spoiled playboy, is later found dead with an arrow in his back. Any lingering tensions must be set aside so the amateur sleuths can find an archer who may have taken the idea of pointed criticism a bit too literally. Spanish Diplomat's Secret by Nev March, third in Captain Jim and Lady Diana Mysteries. Captain Jim Agnotri and his wife, Lady Diana Framji, are embarking to England in the summer of 1894. Jim is hopeful the cruise will help Diana open up to him. Something is troubling her, and Jim is concerned. On their first evening, Jim meets an intriguing Spaniard, a fellow soldier with whom he finds an instant kinship. But within 24 hours, Don Juan Nepomuceno is murdered, his body discovered shortly after he asks rather urgently to see Jim. When the captain discovers that Jim is an investigator, he pleads with Jim to find the killer before they dock in Liverpool in 6 days, or there could be international consequences. Aboard the beleaguered luxury liner are 1,000 suspects, but no witnesses to the locked cabin crime. Jim would prefer to keep Diana safely out of his investigation, but he's doubled over seasick. Plus, Jim knows Diana can navigate the high society world of the ship's first class passengers in ways he cannot. Together, using the tricks gleaned from their favorite fictional sleuth Sherlock Holmes, Jim and Diana must learn why one man's life came to a murderous end. Catch up here. Mary says, I admire you all. I don't know how you keep any of these series straight, much less what has taken place when you get to book 24, etc. Well, sometimes in cozies it doesn't really matter. You don't really track them. Hope he isn't in Sarasota, Tampa area. Kim, they have just gotten lots of rain from Debbie. Drive carefully. Florida may be a bit difficult right now, depending on what part you need to go to. And there have been some clever titles in the books this morning. Indeed. Kim, he's in Central Florida, closer to Ocala. Mary, I grew up in Eustis, which is about 50 miles south of Ocala. Central Florida got a bunch of rain as well, so please be careful. Oh, yes. I know everybody kind of wants rain, but, not all at once. We got rain last night. A gully washer. Reese Bowen has a standalone, The Rose Arbor. An investigation into a girl's disappearance uncovers a mystery dating back to World War II. London, 1968. Liz Houghton, or Houghton, there's ways to pronounce that one, is languishing as an obituary writer at a London newspaper when a young girl's disappearance captivates the city. If Liz can break the story, it's her way into the newsroom. She already has a scoop. Her best friend, Marissa, is a police officer assigned to the case. Liz follows Marissa to Dorset, where they make another disturbing discovery. Over 2 decades earlier, 3 girls disappeared while evacuating from London. One was found murdered in the woods near a train line. The other 2 were never seen again. As Liz digs deeper, she finds herself drawn to the village of Tidham, which was requisitioned by the military during the war and left in ruins. After all these years, what could possibly link the missing girls to this abandoned village? And why does a place Liz has never seen before seem so strangely familiar? Errands and Espionage by Sam Shida. This is a witty spy rom-com. Recently divorced Gabby Green spends most of her days listening to self-help books while wrangling her loving yet erratic kids. During a decade of marriage, Gabby shoved aside her own career and ambitions to make room for mountains of laundry, running errands, and investigating the case of the missing socks. Her number one suspect, their Bichon Frise, Mr. Bubbles. All that changes when a secret government agency comes knocking on Gabby's door asking her to go undercover. At first, she thinks some reality show is pranking her, but apparently she bears a striking resemblance to an agent recently murdered, and, well, desperate missions call for desperate measures. Soon Gabby is juggling motherhood and a crash course in Spying 101, led by a handsome James Bond type who has secrets of his own. As Gabby embarks on a dangerous mission involving money laundering, a Russian oligarch, and an unfortunate incident with a prosthetic nose, she begins to realize that she is far from the invisible housewife she once believed herself to be, and that maybe, just maybe, she might be capable of saving the day. All right, and that's all I had bookmarked. We might look at some more on Friday. I was going to show you. Let's see. So last night I finished my first Garbogist book, which was First to Die by James Patterson. I gave it 3 stars. Did I just lose it? I did just lose it. Operator error. There we go. So Garbogist is, of course, reading guilty pleasures or trashy books or garbage books. Um, Absolutely subjective, because what one person absolutely loves and is obsessed with is another person's trashy book. Last year, I read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I thought it was absolutely garbage. I generously gave it 1 star, but there is a generation who absolutely loves those books. So again, it's absolutely subjective. Um, Kim said he's in Summerfield, about 5 miles north of the villages. We have a drought emergency here where I live in Virginia. The farmers are able to apply for help because they are losing their crops due to no rain. Hoping for some dregs from Debbie. Indeed. Yeah, Montana's been in drought for many years. So I finished First to Die by James Patterson. These are my options I have bookmarked as possible. So I might read this Magic's Mantle by Bruce Centaur next, maybe. It is a lit RPG kind of book. So we'll see. We'll see if that's going to be next for me. All right. But that is all we have for today. Tomorrow we'll be looking at mysteries and thrillers. There we go. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I believe they are on Storms tonight. I will have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope you have a very good Monday. Please take care of yourselves and read good books. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Have a good day and God bless. Ah, there you go. You can binge on some Nancy Drew.